Welcome back, everybody. Super excited. I have a good one for you today. It's an old recipe of mine, but I'm bringing it up to date. It's my creamy Cajun pasta. I haven't talked about Argentine red shrimp in years. They're beautiful. I love them. Why do I love them? Well, when they're raw, these are raw, they have that beautiful orange color that you only get in ugly gray shrimp when they're cooked. So they're beautiful from the get-go. And they have a buttery, almost a lobster-like flavor. I picked mine up at Sam's Club, so if you want to get them, these come in a 2-pound bag, wild caught. They're from Argentina, Argentine red shrimp. I live in Colorado, so if you live down there on the Gulf, you can get yourself some local shrimp. But Sam's Club, wild caught Argentine red shrimp. These were frozen. I ran cold water over them in a strainer in the sink. About 20 minutes later, they were completely thawed. California olive oil. I tested this recipe out last night. In the past, I've only used the Cajun seasoning, but then I had one of those eureka moments. I like blackened shrimp, blackened salmon, blackened steak, Blackstone's blackened steak. We're gonna combine the two. In with a healthy dose of the Cajun seasoning, followed by a dosing of the blackened steak. So mix these. This is killer. It's dynamite. We're getting that Cajun flavor, but we're gonna get an extra sear, extra dark color, courtesy of the blackened steak. That beautiful brand new Blackstone 36-inch Pro Series, a cast iron skillet, and I have a stick of unsalted butter. Garlic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you don't like garlic, go with less. You can decide how much garlic you want to use, but around this house, the more garlic, the better. Garlic into the butter, a little bit of olive oil in there as well. We're gonna build our sauce here. So starting out with olive oil, butter, and garlic. You can control that temperature as need be. We're doing well, so we're gonna go down to low because we're simmering up on top. Heavy whipping cream into the pot. Oh, this is where it gets creamy. Roma tomato. We just happen to have Roma tomato on hand. You could probably use canned tomatoes. The secret is we want to go with really small pieces. And a jalapeno. Gonna go ahead and chop that. We'll scrape the seeds out. You could leave them in there if you want to, but we don't want that extra heat. Green onion, these are gonna be a little finishing touch, a little garnish. We'll slice some of these up for the very, very end. And a couple of lemons. We'll use these towards the end. Nothing like a little lemon juice to finish things up. You can see we're simmering away. If you're using a 36-inch griddle, you can turn 2 burners off. There's a lot of butter and heavy whipping cream. We'll see what happens with mine, but if it's too runny, we can always add cornstarch towards the end. We're gonna add my jalapeno and my Roma tomato. You can season this to taste. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt on my tomatoes. The makings of my delicious, creamy Cajun sauce and some cayenne-based Cajun hot sauce. This will help with the color, turn it a little more peachy pink color, and it'll also start to impart that Cajun flavor that we're after. I would start with just a little bit, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon cornstarch. Less is definitely more, and then you'll see very quickly within a few minutes that should start to thicken up. If you don't want it to simmer as much, you can also lift the skillet onto the edge of the griddle top. Easy way to get direct and indirect heat. Griddle top blazing hot. I want to rub a little extra olive oil into the top because we want a killer sear on this shrimp. And of course, we already have olive oil with blackened steak and Cajun seasoning on the shrimp. High heat is essential, so straight down on the griddle top. Gonna be careful. We want to flatten these out. We want to make sure that all the area of every piece of shrimp gets seared. So we're gonna go about 2 minutes or so on each side of the shrimp. That is taking me back right now. I was in Papados 3 weeks ago down in Houston, and I had some blackened salmon, and that is the smell we want. This will take a few minutes, but we want to individually flip every shrimp. We want to place care that every bite of every piece of shrimp is gonna look amazing. We don't want some shrimp to look lackluster or raw while the next shrimp looks amazing and seared. So take your time. This is 2 pounds of shrimp. This is gonna take me a minute, but we're gonna quickly flip all of my shrimp. You can tell that the shrimp are getting really close because they're starting to curl up, and these things look dynamite. The cornstarch and about 30 minutes of simmering with that heavy cream did the trick over here. 2 minutes on each side with the shrimp, and they look out of this world. Look at the color. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my shrimp. 2 pounds of Barilla number 13 linguine. I cooked it inside, al dente. Here's some B-roll footage of me cooking the pasta. I think you can figure out how to cook the pasta. If it was summertime, maybe I would have cooked this outside. We strained it and then we coated it with olive oil. Pasta down on the hot griddle top, and my beautiful creamy Cajun sauce. We're gonna put about half of it down with the pasta. I'm gonna do about a half to 3/4 of the shrimp mixed in with the pasta. Woohoo! Our mega pile of linguine with shrimp into my serving bowl. Oh yeah, now I'm gonna come over with the rest of that creamy Cajun sauce. I'm gonna put these extra shrimp on top. Green onion toward the end. Some fresh basil leaves. I just love fresh basil on this recipe. Parmigiano Reggiano. We're bridging the gap between Italian and Cajun food today. Just look at how spectacular that is. A little bit of lemon juice in there. Lemon with basil, it's killer. Last but not least, contrast, a little splash of the Louisiana sauce on top. Take a look at that. It's my creamy Cajun pasta. Today we used the shrimp. Last time we did this, we did it with salmon. I called it slammin' Cajun salmon. No matter how you do it, the pasta and the creamy sauce is the star of the show. Let's give it a try. First things first, I have to grab one of those Blackened shrimp. The Blackened with the Cajun seasoning. Get in there and get some of that creamy Cajun sauce. I am a spoon roller, tablespoon, and a little roll, something like that. Basil, shrimp, creamy pasta. Oh, that's creamy. Oh my goodness. Those Argentine red shrimp, they are totally different than other types of shrimp. They have a real buttery flavor. Some people call it a lobster-esque flavor. It works so well with this recipe. As I was making this, I realized you could probably make it your own as well. If you wanted to add that Cajun Trinity, if you wanted to put some bell pepper in there with some minced onion, with some celery, you could do that. I like it like this, almost an Italian meets Cajun type of fusion recipe. It's so good. You have to have fat if you want flavor. Hey, if you want to cut down the fat on that, you don't have to use heavy whipping cream. You could use half and half. You could eliminate the stick of butter. It's still gonna be killer. So you can control the fat by what you put in the creamy sauce. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll get this recipe up at blackstoneproducts.com. And make sure you're watching all the shows on the Blackstone Network because we have a slew of them. Until next time, this is Todd. I'm saying praise the Lord and pass a creamy Cajun pasta.